Get the facts right.
On average, nearly 20 people every minute are physically abused by their significant other. In 1 year, that equals more than 10 million men and women, including thousands of people living right here in the North State. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Scarborough.
And I'm Allison Woods. Statistics surrounding domestic violence show a steady increase over the last 3 years in Shasta, Tehama, and Butte counties. So we went to see what this means for the North State, for victims, and for law enforcement.
Yeah, KRCR News Channel 7's Madison Wade has been working for about a month gathering statistics and crunching these numbers to try and expose the issues behind domestic violence cases here. And she's joining us now with what she's learned. Madison.
Yeah, Jennifer, Allison, good evening. I have been gathering statistics from law enforcement agencies all over the North State.
Bodner says domestic violence doesn't abide by social and economic boundaries. He's been on calls at multi-million-dollar homes, and he's also searched through the woods in transient camps.
That's the thing that I've learned most is that, it happens to everybody. It's very across the spectrum.
In 2013, Shasta County law enforcement responded to 995 domestic violence calls. In 2014, it rose to 1,058, and just last year, it stayed steady at 1,041. In the past 2 years, there have been a little over 2,000 domestic violence reports taken by Shasta County law enforcement. 1,240 arrests were made and 1,640 were sent to the DA's office to be prosecuted, with an 87.5% conviction rate. Many of these cases carry over several years because domestic violence cases aren't simple. They take time.
So how do you break the cycle of abuse? How can you prevent yourself or someone you know from becoming just another statistic? Well, I sat down with a woman living at one safe place currently in Redding. Her story is remarkable.
Well, I'm almost 33. I have 3 kids. One I put up for adoption, and I've been through a lot of abuse my whole life.
Hannah checked into one safe place a few months ago, but if you ask her about her life before, it was very different.
I still have some insecurities, but it's not like it was before because I've felt broken.
Hannah says she has been around abuse since she was 4 years old. Raised by a mother she says was a drug addict. Hannah also says she was molested as a child.
And so when I was a teenager, I became an addict and I started using a lot. And then I got with this guy who I had a baby with, and he suffocated my baby when he was 4 months old. And my son, and he's in a wheelchair now, and he has epilepsy and cerebral palsy, and he's blind, and he's pretty messed up.
Hannah put her son up for adoption because she thought that was the right thing to do for him. She went back to the man who abused her son, but eventually she ended that relationship and married a different man and had 2 other children. But she says he was an abuser too. They would fight, things would get better, then worse again, until she finally said, enough is enough.
After a fight I had with my husband, I was like, you know what? I need to do something. My kids deserve better, and I can't have my kids living the same life I did. It's not fair. And so I came in here barely alive, and I'm like, I need some help bad, and I just did it. Barely had the strength, but I did it.
It's a story heard time and time again inside the walls of one safe place. Hannah had been stuck in the cycle of abuse.
You get so used to it that you let yourself be down, because then you start feeling like you're that person when you're really not. And so then you just let the cycle keep going and going until you feel like you're dead inside. And when you feel like you want to die, then you almost let it happen. You basically it just keeps going until you finally have had so much and you're so done, then you finally do something about it.
Hannah tells me for her, abuse was normal. It was a part of her everyday life.
I was really depressed when I came here. I was so broken. I was so broken. I had hard times getting out of bed, had hard times taking showers because I just felt so heavy, and I would cry all the time.
But she says there was always a voice in the back of her mind, one she couldn't ignore.
I always knew it was wrong. I just didn't know how to speak up for myself.
So how do you speak up for yourself now?
I have help. At One Safe Place, I talk to people and they help. The counselors here help me, set boundaries and stuff because I never had boundaries before.
Hannah says One Safe Place saved her life.
It gave me a chance to rest my my head, and so I don't have to fight anymore. And I can find peace and find who I am, so I can be not the angry person I was anymore with all the anger about my past. And finally I get to talk about it, and I get to talk about it to help other people, and I can finally let my past go.
Through all of this, Hannah has learned to let go, to forgive those who have hurt her, and accept herself for who she is. A strong woman with a support system that will never leave her side.
You don't want to be a martyr, you don't want to be a victim anymore, and you don't want your kids to be in it, and you don't want yourself to be in it anymore, because you'll lose yourself and you'll just die inside. And you don't want to die anymore, you want life.